We're in the middle of electing a new president of the United States, and in January, whoever that is will take over for President Barack Obama. Well, back in 2006, Dr. Paul Hennigan took over for Katherine Henderson as president of Point Park University, in a role he's served ever since. And President Hennigan joins us now on our election night special. First of all, thank you for coming on the program with us tonight.
Sure, I'm happy to be here, Josh. Thanks for asking.
We go back to 2006, it's 2016, 10 years. So first off, congratulations on the 10 years. What has that been like for you in these past 10 years?
Well, it's been an amazing 10 years and quite a transformation for Point Park University and also for downtown Pittsburgh, and we've been a part of all of it. So we certainly had our hopes and dreams then and created a vision, and you're seeing it now.
And in 2006, you made that transition from the Henderson era, and she really took the school to the next level. Literally, from a college to a university, enrollment up over 3,000. What was it like filling in her shoes and continuing to take the school to that bar that she set so high?
Well, it was to stay the course, and she put it on a good path. When Kathy became president in 1997, Point Park was going through a difficult time, and her job was to save the school for the second time in the school's history, which she did by growing enrollment. And she put it on a good path. Believe it or not, there were discussions back then about whether or not Point Park would stay in downtown Pittsburgh because there was really nothing happening here. Nobody was reinvesting in town. But the origin of the school is in downtown Pittsburgh, and so we decided to keep Point Park here and to just grow it. And we've grown it into a very interesting, dynamic urban university.
And back in 2006, I saw a Globe interview that you did, and you said that the new role as president provided really one word for you, and that was opportunity. How has that opportunity played out, and maybe where do you see opportunities in the future for Point Park?
Well, in 2006, Point Park was poised to become what it is today. It really wasn't what it is today. It was poised, though, and there was a lot of opportunity and great potential. But the culture here did not embrace that. So we had to get out of our inferiority complex, and we had to help people believe that we could become something really dynamic and wonderful. And I would say that was the big challenge in '06. And once we got people believing in the opportunity and the potential, then everybody started to emerge as leaders and do their own thing, and we had to guide it and make sure everybody was in sync with one another. And where we are today, Josh, I think we can just take this place to the moon. As I sit here today with you in a brand new Media Innovation Center, and I see what the students are doing here, and I see what the faculty are doing here, and I see these pods of opportunity throughout the entire university, I just think that we're poised to take this to great places.
And in your role as president, we know what the president of the United States does. He's the commander-in-chief, the head of government. What do you do in your role as president of Point Park University?
Well, my role has evolved. So when I started here 16 years ago as the VP for Finance and Operations, quite honestly, I'd never seen a place that was so dirty and so ugly. And I really had to roll up my sleeves and micromanage a lot because I had a wide span of responsibility. And I had to just dig in and raise the standard. And when I started out as president, I had to do the same thing. I had to go from area to area and dive in, which typically a president would not do, but I did. And I had to work alongside a lot of people and help people understand how we could raise the bar. So that was 10 years ago. Now today, we're at a place where we have a lot of emerging leaders. And my job has become more of a mentor, a guide, enabler to let people develop their visions. So there was a group of faculty and Andy Conti who had the vision for this center. So my job wasn't to micromanage that. My job was to enable it, to go out and get the money to let this happen. So the job has evolved over 10 years.
One more question in this portion of our interview. Let's go back to college, Paul Hennigan. If you can time travel, you can go back and talk to him. What is one piece of advice that you would give him?
One piece of advice I would give Paul Hennigan in 1979 is to take way more advantage of the opportunity. We didn't have cable television, and we didn't have social media. We didn't even have microwaves, which I know is hard to believe. But I was not a worldly child at that point in my life, and I really didn't understand how big the U.S. was. I didn't really understand how big the world was. I never would have thought of traveling overseas to study, and I wish I would have had more opportunity. And that's what I say to students now. Open your eyes to all of the opportunity.
We have another opportunity to talk with President Hennigan later in the program, where we'll talk about the role that students are playing in this current election.